and your family. You embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself.
Two wars at the same time. One against one of the most strategic minds in hip-hop, one against his own son. On camera, in a luxury suite, in front of a live Instagram audience. When T.I. locked into a public feud with 50 Cent, fans expected diss tracks, memes, and ego. That's standard rap. What nobody expected was the speed at which it turned personal. Wives dragged in, mothers mentioned, a 21-year-old stepping into grown man smoke. And then, just as the culture thought it was about to spiral completely out of control, silence. Then a private phone call. Then word of an apology. But the Falcons game had already happened months before any of that. And when you put both conflicts side by side, you stop seeing two separate stories. You see the same pressure playing out twice. Once in public, once in a stadium suite, and one man trying to contain both. This is about ego versus responsibility, fame versus family, and the moment a man realizes winning the fight might cost him something worth more than the win. It started with a challenge that was never supposed to become a character attack. In early 2026, T went on $1 million worth of game and said he and 50 had discussed a versus battle privately. According to Tip, the plan was simple. He'd throw the challenge publicly, 50 would step up, the culture would get a heavyweight catalog showdown. Two men who dominated the 2000s, going hit for hit. When Tip went public, 50 didn't confirm it. He didn't deny it either. He just created distance. And in hip-hop, silence in response to a public challenge reads like one thing: hesitation. Tip didn't let it sit quietly. He addressed it on multiple platforms, framing 50's non-response as backing down. That framing mattered, because 50 Cent does not ignore public challenges. It's not in his DN. He responded by calling T.I. King Rat. That label isn't casual trash talk. It questions integrity. It implies cooperation. It's one of the heaviest things you can attach to someone's name in this culture. And the moment it landed, the conversation stopped being about versus entirely. T.I. fired back immediately, warning 50 not to play with his name, hinting he had paperwork of his own. Two veterans, two alphas. Neither built to stand down, but it was still contained. Still two men trading reputation shots in public. Still entertainment. Then 50 posted a photo of Tiny Harris. An unflattering image, a short caption warning Tip to keep his name out of his mouth. One post. That's all it took to pull family into the crossfire. Tiny hadn't said a word about any of this. She wasn't on podcasts, she wasn't in comment sections, she was uninvolved, and she became the target anyway. Fans split immediately. Some called it classic 50 provocation. Others said a line had been crossed that usually stays crossed. The loudest response didn't come from the blogs. It came from King Harris. King watched his mother get publicly humiliated in front of millions and did what a 21-year-old with a platform and no filter does. He went live immediately. Voice raised, no script, just raw emotion. He fired directly at 50. He referenced past legal history. He posted old court images. Then, he said the thing that detonated the entire internet. He told 50 to dig her up, referencing his late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who was killed when 50 was 8 years old. A case that was never solved, a wound that never fully closed. In hip-hop, mentioning someone's deceased parent is nuclear. It moves a fight from lyrical to emotional, from competitive to deeply personal. Some viewers called King reckless, others saw a son defending his family without fear. Either way, the clip spread instantly and didn't stop. King didn't stop there. He dropped Made Man, a diss track aimed directly at 50, aggressive and personal, fueled by the kind of emotion that doesn't usually produce calculated bars, but does produce memorable ones. He followed it by reposting what he claimed were legal documents suggesting 50 had cooperated with federal authorities in a past case. Verified or not, the optics exploded. Blogs ran it, reaction channels broke it down, the narrative spiraled fast. Now it wasn't T.I. versus 50, it was father and son versus a mogul who had never lost a public beef he actually engaged with fully. And then 50 went silent. Every post connected to T.I. and King disappeared from his Instagram. No final word, no explanation, no victory lap, just gone. For a man whose brand was built on relentless escalation, who stretched beef with Ja Rule for years, who traded shots with Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather without blinking, that move felt unnatural. The internet went into detective mode immediately. Legal pressure, strategic recalculation, something building behind the scenes. Then whispers started surfacing about a private phone call. Word spread that T.I. had reached out directly to 50. Not through Instagram, not through a podcast, not through a publicist, man to man. And the word attached to that conversation was apology. Not a public statement, not a groveling performance. A private acknowledgement between two grown men that lines had been crossed. Mothers mentioned, families dragged, pride pushed further than the original point required. If that call happened, it explains the silence perfectly. When the same man who just released diss tracks extends a private olive branch, you don't respond with another meme. You clear the field, you let the smoke settle, and that's exactly what followed. No new shots, no new records, no escalation from either side. Some fans called it maturity, others called it strategy. Tip's farewell album Kill the King was on the horizon, and controversy generates streams. So the skeptics asked whether this was genuine growth or calculated promo timing. There's no confirmed answer. But here's what the Falcons game suggests about which one it actually was. November 26, 2023. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, luxury suite. Family outing that turned into one of the most replayed father-son moments in recent hip-hop memory. King Harris went live on Instagram from inside the suite. What started casual shifted fast when Tip started pressing him. The question that stuck: have you ever woke up with a roach on your face? It wasn't random. It was a challenge, a reminder that the struggle King raps about isn't something you can perform. It's something you survive. I was pointing directly at the gap between his son's upbringing and the image King was building for himself. King pushed back. He insisted he stands on business. He didn't want the silver spoon label. He didn't want to be seen as protected. To him, toughness wasn't inherited, it was earned, regardless of your last name. To Tip, it looked like someone borrowing pain he never actually felt. The exchange escalated. Voices rose, and then it turned physical. Tip wrapped King in a headlock, repeating, "You are embarrassing yourself," while Tiny stepped in to separate them. 6 seconds of footage. That's all it took. But those 6 seconds looped across every platform and every timeline for the optics were brutal. A Grammy-winning rapper physically restraining his own son in front of a live audience. But when you look at what that moment was actually about, it wasn't really about roaches or neighborhoods. It was about identity. King has grown up in the shadow of one of the most recognized names in Southern rap. Every lyric gets compared. Every move gets measured against a man who survived federal charges, rebuilt his career multiple times, and earned the title of King of the South through 2 decades of actual work. That pressure doesn't disappear just because you're family, it intensifies. So when 50 posted that image of Tiny, King didn't just see disrespect. He saw an opportunity to prove he's not soft, to show he'll defend his mother publicly, even against someone as powerful and calculated as 50 Cent, to show the culture he's more than just someone's son. The Falcons game and the 50 Cent feud mirror each other. In both situations, King reacted from a place of needing to prove himself. In both situations, Tip stepped in to contain the damage. Once physically, once with a private phone call. That's the through line connecting both wars. It wasn't really about 50 Cent. It wasn't really about a Versus battle or a podcast challenge or an unflattering photo. It was about a father who has lived through enough consequences to recognize when pride is about to cost someone everything, and a son who hasn't lived through enough yet to recognize the same warning signs. The headlock in the stadium suite was reactive. Instinct, the private call to 50 was deliberate. Calculation, both were attempts at the same thing, protecting what matters more than winning an argument. And that's what separates this situation from a standard rap beef. Most public feuds in hip-hop drag on because neither side wants to be seen as the one who blinked first. Pride runs the clock, ego pays the toll, and history has shown that some of those feuds don't end in reconciliation. They end in something no one can walk back from. T.I. has already learned that lesson in ways most people never have to. Federal charges, prison time, career rebuilding. He knows what it costs when you let the situation run past the point of control. Choosing to de-escalate doesn't erase what was said. Mothers were still mentioned, families were still dragged, the footage still exists. But it signals something, that at some point, even in the middle of a war, legacy matters more than the next shot. And legacy isn't measured by how loud you win. It's measured by what you protect while you're winning. That's what both wars, side by side, actually showed.